TNA Destination X 2011 pay-per-view review. The pay-per-view just went off there a little while ago. And as far as this TNA pay-per-view, I'd say it was actually, when you look at it overall, the show was pretty good. You saw 3 great matches on this pay-per-view. 3 matches you would easily say were very good to great matches. RVD versus Jerry Lynn had the good nostalgic feel to it, and Jerry Lynn still got it. The only downturn in that match was I kind of wish it would have got a little more time, but still a very good match with RVD versus Jerry Lynn. The X Division 4-way match with Aries, Low Key, Jack Evans, and Shima Zion. That was a very good match. That match and Christopher Daniels versus AJ Styles is kind of debatable. I would say Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles was my favorite match tonight, but I think this pay-per-view, it's going to be split 50-50. Some people are going to say the X Division 4-way was the best match of the night, and the other 50% are going to be saying Daniels and Styles were the best match. Those 3 matches made the show. The undercard for the show was not that good at all. You had a very weak undercard, but those 3 matches I would say saved the show and turned it into a good show. The first half of the pay-per-view was not that good. The second half was very good. Really, the second half of the show, the only thing you saw that wasn't that good was the Abyss versus Brian Kendrick match, which I think not that many people were really looking forward to that match anyway. So let me get into my review of Destination X. The first matchup was Kazarian versus Samoa Joe. The crowd was really into this. Some good back and forth action. Pretty decent match from these two. I was expecting a little more from a Samoa Joe and Kazarian match, but still a decent match. The crowd was into it, so that helped it. And Kazarian picks up the victory in a roll-up in this match. So about a 2 3/4 star match. Wasn't a terrible match, but I was expecting just a little more from it. Then the next matchup was not that good of a match. This was Doug Williams' Open Challenge match. He took on, I guess, someone that TNA is trying to give a shot to, which was, his name was Mark Haskins. Haskins, I guess he's from the United Kingdom. He worked TNA's European tour, and TNA, I guess, is trying to give him a try here. So he did a match against Doug Williams, which was a very piss-poor match. Not a good match at all. A number of botches in this match from Mark Haskins, which, with him, a guy like him, very young guy, not used to probably being on live television. That's probably the reason why he messed up, but just wasn't impressed by him. And, Doug Williams, he does a good job with working that European style, and just, I did not like this match at all. Douglas Williams wins the match, and the best thing that he could have done in this match, you didn't even see him win with the Chaos Theory. He won with a roll-up. So the first 2 matches of this pay-per-view ends with roll-ups. So kind of, you don't want to book, matches back-to-back with the same exact finish, pretty much, just a roll-through, roll-up. And this match just wasn't good at all. I'd say about 1.5 stars, and that's probably being pretty generous. Then the next matchup, this match just got added on at the last minute. This was Generation Me versus Eric Young, and Eric Young picked Shark Boy as his tag team partner for his match here. I love Generation Me. Generation Me is a great tag team, but this Eric Young nonsense needs to end. I'm actually shocked he still has a job in TNA. I know some people like his, the comedy stuff he does. I'm just not much of a fan of it. And Shark Boy is one of those guys. Shark Boy and Eric Young are really those 2 guys I'm really shocked has a job still left in TNA. Generation Me tried their best to make this a good match, but it just didn't turn out to be that good. Eric Young and Shark Boy win the match, and I would say about a 1 1/4 star match. Probably the worst match of the night. So, a decent opener right there. Then you saw, 2 matches back to back that weren't that good. So you see the beginning portion of this pay-per-view wasn't that good. The next match, which was the Ultimate X match, this was Robbie E versus Alex Shelley versus Amazing Red versus Shannon Moore. This is the Ultimate X match, and this, for an Ultimate X match, was a bit disappointing. Amazing Red looked awesome in this match. If it wasn't for Amazing Red, this match would probably be in the category of like the first 2 matches, not that good at all, but Amazing Red at least made it a decent match. But for an Ultimate X match, you expect a whole lot more. You saw some high spots in it, but for an Ultimate X match, you just, like I said, expect a whole lot more. He just did not get it in this match. I'm glad Alex Shelley won. Alex Shelley's the #1 contender for the X Division Championship, so hopefully he becomes champion, because with Chris Sabin being out of action, Alex Shelley can, until Sabin can come back, and them 2 team up again with Moose and Machine Guns, Alex Shelley can do a great job as X Division champion. Hopefully they do that and give him a pretty lengthy run as X Division champion, because I think he definitely deserves it. Like I said, a little disappointing Ultimate X match, about 2.5 stars, maybe 2 3/4. Then the next matchup, this is when the pay-per-view picks up. You saw Jerry Lynn versus RVD. Like I said, you saw this match had great nostalgic feel. Jerry Lynn, you know, he can still go. RVD obviously really hasn't lost a step. You know, in TNA, he's kind of not turned out as good as what I think a lot of us were expecting, but him and Jerry Lynn still meshed very well with each other. You see, they haven't lost a step. It's just great back and forth action. Really good match. The only downturn of this match was the match didn't get as much time as what I was hoping it would have got. I kind of wish it would at least gotten maybe another 5, maybe 10 minutes. But for the time they were given, it was a very enjoyable match. One of the, up to this point of the pay-per-view was definitely the best match of the night up until this point, other than, you know, what happened on after this match. Very good stuff with Jerry Lynn and RVD, and it did deliver. I was kind of worried, you know, is Jerry Lynn going to be able to perform to his fullest abilities and do good stuff with RVD? And he did prove that. So it was a good match with RVD and Jerry Lynn. I'm a huge fan of the original ECW, so it was great to see, you know, these two, you know, probably for the last time take on each other one-on-one. So it was great to see and had a good nostalgic feel to it. About 3.5 stars. Like I said, the only downturn was I thought it could have been given a little more time. Then the next matchup was one of the best matches of the night, other than the main event. This was Austin Aries versus Zima Ion, or Shima Zion's who it is, but I guess he went by something different on this pay-per-view, which was Zima Ion versus Low-Key versus Jack Evans. This was the 4-way match. The winner of this match gets a TNA contract, and this was just an awesome match. Saw some great stuff with Aries and Low-Key against each other. Low-Key looked great. Jack Evans did a lot of insane stuff in here, and even Shima Zion, or whatever he went by in this match, he didn't look bad either. Obviously, when you're in there with, you know, Jack Evans, Low-Key, and Austin Aries, you're obviously gonna get overshadowed by them. But he had a pretty decent showing in this match, and a very good 4-way match here. Great match. This definitely was a match that, you know, signified the X Division. Just a great match. One of the matches I would say is a must-see match to see on this pay-per-view. Austin Aries wins this match, so Austin Aries gets a TNA contract. So I was kind of expecting him to win. I knew it was either between Austin Aries or Low-Key. I was actually thinking that Low-Key would have probably won the match, just because the way they were kind of building him up, and, you know, him keep on saying this stuff, wrestling matters and stuff. So hopefully TNA, you know, signs Low-Key at some point as well. So I would love to see him in TNA, since, you know, he's not doing anything in Ring of Honor, and he's just working some indies right now. So I would love TNA to pick him up. Jack Evans, I would love to see, but I don't think that would happen. Even though TNA does got a working agreement with AAA right now, so they could possibly get him. And Shima Zion, I wouldn't be mad if they didn't pick him up. But if they wanted another, you know, extra Ultimate X, another extra X Division wrestler, he'd be a good fit for TNA, but not someone I would say is a definite hire. But great match right there. Definitely one of the matches I would say highly recommend people to check out. 3 3/4 stars. Next matchup was a match I really wasn't looking forward to. I think a lot of people weren't, which was the X Division title match. This was Brian Kendrick versus Abyss. Not that much of a match here. You know, Abyss, you know, pretty much had most of the offense. Then Brian Kendrick got it in. Then towards the end of the match, there was a ref bump. Bischoff came out there. Brian Kendrick knocks out Eric Bischoff. Then you see the Immortal members, and then you see people from Immortal come out there. Then the X Division come out there. They pretty much brawl. But then the match pretty much ends after they have a brawl between Immortal and the X Division. Abyss goes for the choke slam, and Brian Kendrick reverses into a roll through. So this match, you know, ending it with a roll up made sense. You know, Abyss is a big guy, Brian Kendrick is, and you can say the same thing with probably Samoa Joe and Kazarian match. Just they had a little too many roll-ups on this pay-per-view, 3 of them right there, obviously. But not that good of a match. I would say about, at best, maybe 1.5, maybe 1 3/4 stars. Then the main event was AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels. I was glad this main event, because I was a little worried at the beginning of the show, because the beginning of the pay-per-view showed a video that pretty much just focused it on the Brian Kendrick versus Abyss feud. I was kind of worried that TNA would have put that as the main event, especially since it's the X Division title, but thankfully they did not do that. and AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels main evented. These two always pull off great matches with each other. I would say, you know, in the past 2000s, these two, Styles and Daniels, is like the modern day Flair and Steamboat type of feud, because AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels have taken on each other pretty much on every single indie company you could think of. Took on each other several times at TNA, and all the matches almost all the time are great. And this was a great match as well here. You saw some good back and forth action. It seemed like AJ might have got a concussion in this match, because he did seem towards the end of the match a little off in the ring, but he made that up. He made that up and pulled through it. But he did seem a little off, or something was wrong with the ropes in the match or something. But still was a great match with Styles and Daniels. I was expecting it to be maybe just a little better, considering how their other matches in the past have been. But this is still a good match. It'll be a memorable match between those two. Not one of their, you know, I wouldn't put it in the top 5, you know, AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels match, but still a very good match with the two. And that match right there, I would give about 3 3/4 stars, maybe 4 stars. That match, the 4-way with Aries, Low-Key, Evans, and Shima Zion, and RVD and Jerry Lynn, pretty much made this show. So those 3 matches right there, I would say, since those 3 were great matches, I would give this pay-per-view about a 7.5, maybe even 7.75 out of 10. It was a good show for TNA. Just the only thing bad on here was the undercard. The undercard, if it would have been better, this show would definitely be in the category of a must-see show. But I think those 3 matches turned the show into something enjoyable, and I would definitely recommend it, especially for those matches. You definitely need to see the 4-way match if you're a fan of the original ECW, and RVD and Jerry Lynn pulled off a good match, but definitely if you're a fan of the original ECW, you definitely will want to see that match for, you know, a good nostalgic feel. And AJ and Daniels was a great match. So overall, pretty enjoyable show from TNA. Like I said, give it about a 7.75 out of 10. Yeah, that's it for my TNA Destination X 2011 pay-per-view review. All right, peace.